Zoom zoom. Painting at long last. Painting, and I know you guys will all have a good laugh, but I'm not showing you too close here because the prep work wasn't great on this, but it's very, very tough without stripping off all the paint. I really don't want to do that. This is just tractor store implement paint, but you'll see there's no brush marks. So I just followed the coach painting instructions where, you know, you lay it on a reasonably thick coat and then you just lay it off. Like we used to call it laying off. So this is the next bit I'm going to do. The only other bit I did, just to use up the remainder of the paint, is the top half of the bonnet. I've actually painted this before, other paint, and it just cracked right off. You can see the crack marks. Again, this one, you don't see the brush marks. I laid it on pretty quick. You can still see some bare spots of metal here. I'll go over it again. All of this needs a second coat, I would imagine. Here you'll see I did not lay it on thick enough, and you can see brush marks. That's okay, all of this is to get a second coat, rub down on a second coat, right? You can see here, I missed a bit entirely. That's okay. Minimum prep on the hood, just because I wanted to cover up those bare bits of metal that would begin to rust again. There's layers and layers and layers of like glazing putty on this. It's tough to attack it all. So I might even fill in these little spots again, like someone else did, and then repaint it. You can see it looks better than the grubby brown stuff that's been on there for 7 or 8 years and wasn't very well applied in the first place. First couple of things is to get that spare wheel off, give it a wee wash, and then start rubbing it down. Those of you new to Austin 7s should know that all the wheels have a little keyhole shape on hub. So you don't take the nuts all the way off, you take them off, you loosen them off enough just to find the keyhole and then just pull off. A bit more difficult with the spare because of where the bumper is. I have some better wheels here I'm going to try. Give this a wee wash. I have a bunch of these sanding discs, but they've disappeared in the sands of time. Sands of time. believe this is an orbital sander that I'm using. I remember looking up the last time I was trying to do this on MG. I'll just show you what I'm trying to get rid of. It's all over the car. See these little... They look like bubbles. I don't think they are bubbles. I don't know what exactly they are. Little round nodules. They're all over the car. And cracks. There's cracks everywhere in this paint. As if something's bubbling up through, you know. A bit dead, I think. I need to go get some more of these things, so I'll come back to it. Look, I'll bring you in close. Look, the problem with this is you'll get all dusty. See these little bubbles? It's almost like it's bubbles of filler or something, right? And there's an example of the crack. There's cracks everywhere. Right through the paint, see. You can see rust underneath, see. So it's become kind of essential that I do something with it, see. All these cracks. See, the paint is just flaking off. Should not be able to do that, I'm pretty sure. So some kind of coating is required, even if it is shabby like mine. Much later in the afternoon, bought some new gear, a new sanding disc from a sander, but also this really rough thing to try and get into some of these holes. You have to be careful you don't build up too much heat, because you just melt the paint then. I bummed out my other sander, and then this one I had to get a new backing pad for it. It's a hook and loop thing, you know, Velcro we would call it. I do need my mask again though. That little piddly thing was doing nothing, so it wasn't creating much of a blowback. This is. I'll definitely need to go over it. I've got 320 and 80, so I'll go over it with 320 after I do the 80. significant dust in there. I need to now switch to lighter grit because you'll definitely see the marks of a 60 grit on that paint. I want to keep the sanding disc though, there's nothing wrong, hardly any wear on that sanding disc. Let's see what this is B20 grit, which is the finest I could get. Set a goal to try and do a section each day, you know. Nice and warm, not too warm. Should help me having this dry off fairly quickly. I'll give it a wipe down with some thinners on a rag as well. Okay, how do we feel about this? It's remarkable how dusty that still is. Not only did I find my old tackcloth, but I found the red catalyst for the other filler that I have, which is good. Apparently the thing about the tack cloth is it's sticky and bits of dust stick to it now. Shows you, huh? It's good. Sticky, you can feel it in your fingers. And what's on it? Something that makes it tacky. My other favourite accessory. I don't know what you're seeing. Okay. I don't care about this wing because it's still got the plasti dip on it, so when I strip off the plasti dip the paint will come off with it. I did have a bit of overspray in that other wing there, which is sad, but I do need to put a second black coat on it, so that's my excuse for that one. Let that flash off. Then we'll fill these holes. The holes! More filler on top of filler, huh? Not great. Almost inclined to just paint over the top of the holes, you know, and to hell with the consequences. Someone showed me one time when you're finished with your particular spray, you turn the can upside down and give it a blast of clean air. Supposed to wait for 20 minutes. I never have patience to wait for 20 minutes. Go and do something else, I guess. Okay, we'll give it 20 minutes. So we're back. I don't know how successful you would call that, but I'm going to say it's done. And no, I'm not going to fill in those holes. I'm just going to leave them because this wing that I just did is similarly pockmarked, so it is what it is, man. I'm not going to bother about trying to get it to a concours finish because I'll never achieve that. And it's more important for me to get it out on the road. I want to drive this little guy. I don't want it to be stuck here and worked on all the time. I've already missed a couple of days of putting miles on it, right? So that was my task, remember? Get some miles on there, little sucker. I want 100 miles on it so I can start going longer journeys. So let's just put a coat of black on it. I've already gubbed up this wing. I thought with me cleaning this brush yesterday, it'd have been fine for today. It's solid, man. Right. I don't know if I'll be able to save that or not. Probably not, huh? I'll try it with some thinners and see. I thought the dregs in my paint can that I used yesterday would have dried up and I could have used the can again. I was wrong about that. So you can get this brush to come back around. Yeah, it's coming back around. Good. Good. Came back around. Let's see. Yeah, you can see it all entirely good. I just put this on straight last time, so I think I'm going to do the same again this time. Try not to put quite as much in the container because there was quite a bit of wastage yesterday. It was surprisingly a long way. So just a little tickle at the moment, and let's start laying it on. Oops, bubble already. Tiny. Lots of bugs. So what I learned yesterday was you got to lay it on pretty thick for this technique to work. So you put on quite a thick coat. And then what we used to call it is laying it up. Gently drawing your brush down. To prevent brush marks, right? I didn't put it on thick enough on that half of the bonnet. I showed you that when I started this morning. So now I've got enough paint on there, I should be able to draw it down here and you'll see the smooth lines as I draw it down. Very light touch. The paint has to be on thick enough for it to lay up. Now my problem here is, as any veteran painter will know, is I have to keep these edges going, right? That's it here. Another one. Damn. This is going to be a nightmare. Two here, look. The good thing about this tractor store paint is it takes a long time to dry, a long time to set. I don't think that's a here, just a mark in the paint. So I'm hoping we can get away with some shit here. I'll work fairly rapidly because I've now got a live edge here and at that side, right? That I don't want to set it too hard before I work into that edge, right? Who's to say I'm doing it right? It's just that what I did on the wings seemed to work and there was no brush marks, which is what I wanted. Right, back to it, so now let's keep on going. Once you've started, you can't really fuck around. That wet edge, it's just the same as a spray gun as far as that's concerned. Back's getting sore. Now the mosquitoes are coming out just to make it more interesting.
did that with the other side. The jamb of the door I'm talking about. Okay. It can make it worse if I touch it anymore. Hold on. When you put the can, you're going to kick it, ain't you? If you're me, you are. These are nice brass wheel nuts, but right now they're just dirty, so I'm painted black just because I don't want the threads to get painted over, right? So. I'm going to use up the rest of my paint, because I did have some extra after all, to put a second coat on this one, since we're here anyway. the same technique all over again. You have to be very delicate. Leave that bit in there for later. Well, I've got a chance to fix it with a second coat if that doesn't work, but let's hope it does. I'll give this another coat as well, since we have some more paint left over. Jeepers creepers. I didn't do much prep on this because I just wanted to seal the cracks. I had already painted this last year with the spray gun and the special 2-pack epoxy paint. So I'm just using up the rest of my paint here. Bring you over here. My hands are all covered in paint, of course. Let you have a look. It's not the finished product, of course, but right. So that's that rear wing and the back done using the Coach painting technique on Tractor Store black paint. Implement paint it's called. I've used it before. It's for axles and things. Very slow drying, traditional old-fashioned paint. I don't know what it's made of, but you know, regular thinners thins it down and washes your brushes. You know, from what's that, 10 feet away, 5 feet away. Doesn't look too bad, right? So we'll see what it dries like in the morning.